What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. Just me today. Really light news weekend as well as the NBA Finals wrapped up last night. So we're left with baseball, NASCAR, golf, sure, and we got some soccer going on as well. But yeah, like I said, really short news weekend. We got the Cowboys, Chargers. Off-season recaps today, and again, pretty brief here. Nothing breaking. Start off college football news. Transfer portal. UConn wide receiver Josiah Gathings is back in the MAC, headed to Buffalo. Great pickup for Coach Lembo and the Bulls in June, which is kind of wild. But Gathings an excellent player out when he played at Akron for the first couple of years, or first year. I think he's a sophomore or junior this year. So, yeah, but Gathings really solid player at the wide receiver position. See if he can get acclimated quickly to the Buffalo system and really contribute this year for the Bulls. UFL to NFL signing. Congrats to friend of the show, Jaden Price, signing with the New Orleans Saints, former Arlington Renegades corner, going to New Orleans there. Very excited for him. Hoping to have him on the show shortly once we get our schedules together. And that's it. That is all the news, people. So let's go to the Cowboys off-season recap here. Losses. QB Trey Lance signed at the Chargers. QB Cooper Rush went to the Ravens. Running back Rico Dowdle to the Panthers. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks to the Saints. Offensive tackle Chuma Edoga to the Jags. Defensive tackle Linval Joseph is a free agent. Defensive tackle Carlos Watkins went to the Titans. Edge rusher DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seahawks. Edge Chauncey Golston to the Giants. Edge Carl Lawson is a free agent, as is linebackers Eric Hendricks and Nick Vigil. Corner Jordan Lewis went to the Jags. Corner Amani Oruwariye went to the Titans. So it was a pretty solid amount of players lost in terms of quality for Dallas. Obviously, the QB depth there with Lance and Rush gone. Rush had been the backup for a while in Dallas, and they did not elect to re-sign him, which I thought was an intriguing option. But nonetheless, he is now a Baltimore Raven there. The corners were also, I think, a key thing with the Cowboys. The two corners that they lost, Lewis and Oruwariye there. Some key depth, and I know Amani played a bunch of games. Jordan Lewis was very productive as well. 3 edge rushers. That was a big deal. I think they're going to miss DeMarcus Lawrence. Not as much Golston and Lawson, but Lawrence definitely. And then, Cooks, they lost their wide receiver 2. Who's going to step into that role? Rico Dowdle, their 1,000-yard back from last year, is gone. So they have a couple new running backs. But, yeah, it wasn't horrendous, the amount of in-quality losses, but definitely some key contributors for this team. Free agency-wise, they re-signed quarterback Will Grier, traded for QB Joe Milton III from the Patriots. Got running back Javonte Williams from the Broncos, running back Miles Sanders from the Panthers. Wide receiver Cavante Turpin re-signed. They got wide receiver Paris Campbell from the Eagles. Traded for wide receiver George Pickens from the Steelers. Offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji from the Browns. Guard Brock Hoffman re-signed. They got guard Robert Jones from the Dolphins. Re-signed defensive tackle Osa Odigizua. Defensive tackle Solomon Thomas comes in for the Jets. Edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr. comes back to Dallas after 1 year in Washington. Edge Peyton Turner comes in from the Saints, former first-round pick. Linebacker Jack Sanborn in from the Bears. They traded for linebacker Kenneth Murray from the Titans. Traded for corner Kyrie Elam from the Bills. Safety Israel Mukuamu. Safety Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas. They all re-signed. As did specialist punter Brian Anger and long snapper Trent Sieg. So I think the Cowboys got some really solid players, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't do a ton on offense beside the running back additions and the Pickens trade. You could say the Milton trade was also important because he is listed as the main backup to Prescott right now. I think they're in a worse spot quarterback-wise if Prescott would go down again, as he has a couple times within the last couple of seasons. Running back-wise, it'll be weird. We'll see how it shakes out. There's a bunch of guys there, 5 guys that I think could theoretically lead. Any one of those 5 could lead this backfield, I think. And Sanders was absolutely terrible in Carolina. Williams was solid in Denver most of the time, but limited explosion there. And then, of course, Pickens. Love Pickens. Hate him now because he's a Cowboy, but he should fill in that key wide receiver 2 position that they've been looking for to go with CeeDee Lamb there. Getting a Odighizuwa back was big time. Getting Fowler back, they needed to improve this pass rush. And getting Dante Fowler back in Dallas was a big key. Taking a shot on Kaiir Elam's not a bad thing. And they got all their safeties back, essentially. So I think they definitely gained more than they lost, especially when you look at that defense. The front 7 more so than the back end. But, the defensive additions, I think, were big time. A lot of the O-linemen were depth additions. All right, Cowboys draft here. First round guard Tyler Booker, Alabama, 12th overall. Second round edge Donovan Ezeruaku, Boston College, 44th. Third round corner Siobhan Ravel Jr., East Carolina, 76th. No 4th rounder. 2 5ths though. Running back Jaden Blue, Texas, 149th. Linebacker Shamar James, Florida, 152nd. 6th round offensive tackle Johnny Cornelius, Oregon, 204th. And 3 7s. Defensive tackle Jay Toya, UCLA, 217th. Running back Phil Maffa, Clemson, 239th. And defensive tackle Tommy Akingbasote, Maryland, 247th. It was pretty good, to be honest. They filled every need except the first one for me, which I thought was big at the time until they got the George Pickens trade done. Once they got the George Pickens trade done, it made this draft look a lot better because I had wide receiver as my number 1 need. That's why I thought Tetroa McMillan was going to be in play potentially for the Cowboys, Matthew Golden as well. Obviously, Tech gone by the time that Dallas was on the board at 12. And then I thought they should have went tackle. I thought tackle was more of a need than guard. I had tackle as my second one, interior O-line as my third need. Just because I'm still not I don't trust Terrence Steele at right tackle. I just do not trust Terrence Steele. But Dallas does apparently. They're going to slide Booker into that right guard spot and complete the 3 Tyler line: Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, and Tyler Booker. Left tackle, left guard, and right guard. Solidifying that O-line, hoping that increases the run game as well. And they got 2 running backs, which was my 4th need. They got a linebacker, which is my 5th, and an interior D-line was my last one. 2 of those in this draft here. So I really like Booker, best interior O-lineman in the draft. Ezeruaku's toolsy. He's got some work to do. I don't think he's going to be a big-time player to start. Going to be in the rotation, though. Loved Revel. It'll be interesting to see how close he is to coming back and when he can come back to get back on the field from the ACL last year. But it was pretty early in the season as far as I remember. So he should be good to go, I think, by week 1. Obviously, they're hoping Trayvon Diggs is back by week 1 as well. I really love the Jaden Blue selection. I think was fantastic in the 5th round. He's the guy that I could see leading this backfield. Out of the 5 guys that they have listed here on the depth chart on Our Lads, Javonte Williams is listed as first. Jaden Blue is second. Miles Sanders, Phil Maffa, Deuce Vaughn. Maffa's a power guy, sort of in the mold of Williams, but I think less bulky. But I really like Jaden Blue's ability to catch the ball in the backfield as well as pass block. So I think Blue should be a solid player. Maybe the second best player they got. I don't know. Ezra Wacko and Ravel are tough outs. But James at linebacker was okay. He was a Senior Bowl favorite. It's okay. I don't think he's going to make the roster, though, unfortunately for him, unless he beats out someone or they keep 6, which would be a hard sell for I don't know, maybe. Cornelius, I think, is a great addition at the developmental tackle position there. And then the 2 D tackles, I don't really have a ton. Jay Toya is definitely better than King Basote. Both, though, Toya looks like he should make it based off the depth chart. Hopefully, UFL Birmingham Stallions defensive lineman Perry and Winfrey can make a push there for one of the interior D-line spots. We'll see how many they keep. But, I like Toya over King Basote. And Maffa, it's going to be interesting, the running back room again. Do they keep 4? Because I think they should. If no one gets injured in preseason, which, of course, we hope not, I really think they should keep 4 running backs: Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Miles Sanders, Phil Maffa. Unless Deuce Vaughn beats one of them out, I don't see anything changing at the top 4. For Dallas, though, they filled most of my needs here. I would have liked they went a little bit out of order for me, though. I thought getting a tackle all the way in the 6th round was a little bit of a misstep. But all in all, I do really like it. So I'm going to get a B+ for Dallas here. Going to the schedule, they start off. They are in the Thursday night kickoff game on September 4th. I think it's September 4th. At the Eagles in Philly, big-time game. Then they have a division opponent, second game of the season as well, home against the Giants. At the Bears, week 3, home against the Packers, Sunday Night Football. At the Jets, at the Panthers, home against the Commanders, at the Broncos, home against the Cardinals, Monday Night Football. Week 10 bye, and then it gets weird. The amount of primetime and specialty games that the Cowboys are involved in the second half of the season is absolutely blows my mind because I don't think they're going to be in playoff contention. At the Raiders, Monday Night Football, home against the Eagles, home against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, at the Lions on Thursday Night Football, home against the Vikings Sunday Night Football, home against the Chargers, at the Commanders on Christmas, and at the Giants to end it out. That is a lot of movement. You're going Monday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. So, that was going to be wild to keep track of when the Cowboys are even freaking playing for Cowboys fans there. And what network? That's also a big thing with, they're mostly going to play on Fox, but you got Prime for the Thursday night game. You got NBC for the Sunday night game, ESPN for the Monday night game. And then you got Netflix for the Christmas Day game. So, it's going to be wild. Most of the other ones on Fox, though. It's going to be a difficult schedule. They have to, if they want to get wins, they got to get them early. They got Giants, Bears, Jets, Panthers, potentially the Cardinals, but those are some of the games that they really need to win early and often to set themselves up for that wild schedule in the back half. And it's not easy. They get the Raiders, which they potentially should win. But after that, it gets very difficult. Eagles, Chiefs in Detroit, Vikings, Chargers in Washington. and then they got the Giants again, which they should beat. But yeah, that back half is rough. I again do not think this team makes playoffs. So again, we'll do records later, but that's just kind of my initial thoughts on how the schedule looks June 23rd. Chargers. A lot of movement for LA. Losses. QB Easton Stick went to the Falcons. Running back Gus Edwards is a free agent. Running back J.K. Dobbins to the Broncos. Wide receiver T.J. Chark is a free agent. Wide receiver Josh Palmer went to the Bills. Tight end Hayden Hurst is a free agent. Tight end Stone Smart went to the Jets. Unfortunately, tore his Achilles, I believe, and is done for the year. Defensive tackle Morgan Fox went to the Falcons. Defensive tackle Puna Ford to the Rams. Edge rusher Joey Bosa to the Bills. Linebacker Shaq Quarterman is a free agent. Linebacker Nick Neiman went to the Texans. Corner Christian Fulton to the Chiefs. Corner Asante Samuel Jr. Corner Eli Apple and safety Marcus May are all free agents still. I don't think they lost a ton. J.K. Dobbins, obviously. Joey Bosa, obviously. The biggest names there. Bosa, franchise icon. But too many injuries, really. Ford was an interesting one. I thought they might have kept him. Just he's a run stuffer up front with limited pass rush potential, but he's pretty good run stuffer, I would say, at the nose tackle position. The one that I don't get still is Asante Samuel Jr. Why is this man still unsigned? I don't understand. Now, to be fair, this Chargers secondary has actually been pretty solid, and it looks really good. Neck surgery for Asante Samuel Jr. there in April. So he has a July checkup. Has had visits with the Saints and the Eagles. So, or he has had a visit with the Saints. But hey, man, I would love to get another legacy to Philadelphia. We already got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Why not Asante Samuel Jr. as well? That would be awesome. But yeah, that's the one. He's the guy that I think definitely they should re-sign if he's good to go medically. Otherwise, I don't think they lost much, really. Signings, they re-signed quarterback Taylor Heineke, signed quarterback Trey Lance from the Cowboys, running back Najee Harris from the Steelers, re-signed wide receiver Jalen Reagor, signed wide receiver Mike Williams from the Steelers, brought him back after a couple years away. Tight end Tucker Fisk re-signed. Tight end Tyler Conklin came in from the Jets. Guard Mekhi Becton they got from the Eagles. Center Bradley Bozeman re-signed. Center Andre James signed from the Raiders. They got defensive tackle Taylor Tart re-signed. Defensive tackle Naquan Jones from the Cardinals. Edge rusher Khalil Mack re-signed. Edge Deshaun Hands from the Dolphins. They re-signed linebacker Denzel Perriman. Got corner Benjamin St. Juste from the Commanders. Corner Dante Jackson from the Steelers. Safety Tony Jefferson. Safety Elijah Molden. And punter J.K. Scott all re-signed. So I liked what they did. Getting Najee Harris I thought was a big-time move to continue this run game that Jim Harbaugh likes to do. We'll see if Mike Williams has anything left in the tank. He was terrible for the Jets and the Steelers. The Conklin edition also is kind of the same thing. It's like they have some tight ends. I mean, this tight end room is there's a lot of guys. Will Dissly, Tyler Conklin, Arondé Gadsden, Tucker Fisk, McAllen Castles. So yeah. The Becton one was obviously the big money free agent that they got, filling in that right guard spot. They needed that. We'll see if he can do it away from Philadelphia. I don't know. Solidifying the center position with two big-time veterans, re-signing Bozeman and getting James, I thought was a big-time. It was really solid for LA here in Tom. Is Tom Telesco still? No, it's Joe Ortiz here. Obviously, they had to. They lost Bosa, so they had to keep that pass rush intact a little bit. Got Khalil Mack back. Um, I don't really like the secondary additions. Dante Jackson's okay. Tony Jefferson actually played pretty well for them last year, as did Elijah Molden. So those safety additions were good, though, I thought. Chargers draft, running back Amarian Hampton, North Carolina, 22nd overall. Second round wide receiver Trey Harris, Ole Miss, 55th. Third round defensive tackle Jamari Caldwell, Oregon, 86th. Fourth round edge rusher Kyle Kennard, South Carolina, 125th. 2/5 wide receiver Keandre Lambert Smith, Auburn, 158th. Tight end Aronde Gadsden, the second, Syracuse, 165th. Sixth round, 2 picks, guard Branson Taylor, Pittsburgh, the Tom Brady pick, 199. Safety RJ Mickens, Clemson, 214th. And seventh round corner Triquez Bridges out of Florida, 256th. So, yeah, I kind of like the Chargers draft. They filled every need but one for me. My fourth need out of 6 was corner. They did not get one. Or no, they did. They did get one. I don't know where I was looking at that they did not get one. Anyways, that's on me. I don't know. I don't know why I did not see the corner drafted there. So they filled all my needs, which is fantastic. Yeah, I really like this draft. Omarion Hampton, stud. The only other first round quality back with Ashton Genty. Kind of knew that was where the Chargers were leaning with Jim Harbaugh as the head coach and losing 2 running backs free agency. I really enjoy the Trey Harris edition. He's going to pair well with Ladd McConkey, I think, and Quentin Johnston. Be a speedster. He's kind of in the mold of Quentin Johnston, to be honest. 6'2", 210. Johnson's bigger, 6'3", 208. And then you have big Mike Williams as well, 6'4", 218. Definitely got some size there. And Ladd's not he's 5'11" and 5'8", 185. So he's smaller. But I mean, even you look at Keandre Lambert Smith, 6'1", 182, not short either. So they definitely added some size for agency in the draft. I like Harris, though. He was very productive for Lane Kiffin and co. at Ole Miss. Jamari Caldwell, I think, is a pretty solid addition in the third round there. Love the Kennard selection in the fourth. He should be a key contributor on this pass rush. Yeah, he's going to line up outside and help Khalil Mack and Tuli Pelotu, Bud Dupree as well, who re-signed. The fifth round skill guys I thought were really solid. Keandre Lambert Smith. I still always wonder what his trajectory would have looked like had he stayed at Penn State. Just saying. 2 seasons at Auburn, I don't think he was that special. I love Gadsden. Gadsden was a monster at Syracuse. Unfortunately, he's behind 2 veterans now in Conklin and Disley. He'll have to beat one or both of them out to get significant playing time. But yeah, Gadsden, I love him. Big time receiving tight end. The rest of them I don't really care for. Taylor, who knows, it's the Tom Brady pick, the allure. I didn't know anything about him. RJ Mickens, pretty good player out of Clemson. Let's see where he sits at. Okay, he's one of the main backups at safety. So they have him. Our Lads has him over Tony Jefferson, which is interesting. But nonetheless, I do think Mickens was a pretty solid player at Clemson. Then again, I don't know really anything about Triquez Bridges out of Florida. I don't think he will make the team, but we will see. I mean, he does have maybe one opportunity there. Dean Leonard is a 22 7th rounder. Jasir Taylor's a 22 6th rounder as well. So those are probably the 2 that I would say he would be competing with But he also has to compete with a couple of really good undrafted guys. Nico Reed out of Oregon and Miles Purchase out of oh man, I'm blanking on where Miles Purchase is from. And I think I got the Nico. I always forget. Yeah, Nico Reed was at Oregon. He was at Colorado. He transferred to Oregon from Colorado there. Miles Purchase was Texas Tech, I believe. Oh, Iowa State. Iowa State. That's right. There you go. But yeah, so those are a couple undrafted guys that I really like. All competing there for the last spot essentially in the Chargers corner room. But all in all, for this Chargers draft, I really like the top end, not so much the last 3 picks. But I think I'm going to give them the same grade that I did the Dallas Cowboys and give them a B+. Although they did fill all my needs. They went wide receiver earlier than I thought they needed to. And the only other, just looking at the roster here, not a ton of holes really. Maybe draft the linebacker. I don't know. I think this is one of the better rosters in the league. Harris wasn't my favorite pick at wide receiver in the second round, but nonetheless, they needed to do it. They needed to upgrade that receiver depth chart, and they did with both of those selections. So yeah, the only other thing I'll say is potentially tackle depth, but Trey Pipkins has been a pretty solid player, and they got my Georgia boy, Jamari Salyer, there as well. Charger schedule. Home against the Chiefs. Sao Paulo, Friday night kickoff, September 5th. At the Raiders on Monday night. Home against the Broncos. At the Giants. Home against the Commanders. At the Dolphins. Home against the Colts. Home against the Vikings Thursday night football. At the Titans. Home against the Steelers Sunday night football. At the Jags. Bye week 12. Home against the Raiders. Home against the Eagles Monday night football. At the Chiefs. At the Cowboys. Home against the Texans on a Saturday. And then at the Broncos. So the ends of this schedule is where I look at first. 3 straight division games to start this season. That is wild. And 2 of them are special games. Friday, Sao Paulo game against Kansas City, the defending AFC champs, by the way. And then, they got to go to Vegas Monday Night Football, week 2, and then host the Broncos on a regular Sunday game. But, yeah, you got to get 1 and 2 at the very worst to have a shot. 2-1 at best. 2-1 is really what you're hoping is the worst. Obviously, you want to go 3-0, but division games, you never know what's going to happen, especially early on the season. That's a really difficult start to the season for them. But then it gets easier. The Giants, I'm still a believer in the Dolphins. A lot of other people aren't. Washington obviously is going to be tough. Colts, I think they should definitely beat the Colts. They should be able to beat the Vikings, I think, with what this roster holds, and we'll see how JJ is by week 8 there, but that's a short week for him in his first season as a starter. Should beat the Titans. The Steelers are an interesting one. Najee Harris revenge game, I guess. It's in LA, though, so we'll see how that works out. Jags, again, a team probably Chargers should beat. Down the stretch, though, after the bye is rough. Obviously, you got the Raiders. No one really knows what they're going to be. But then you face the Super Bowl opponents back-to-back, Eagles, Chiefs. And you got 3 or 4 on the road at the end with a short week in the middle there. Chiefs, Cowboys, Broncos, and then squeezed in as the Texans on a Saturday. Playoff rematch. So, yeah, it's definitely doable. Chargers should be able to squeak out at least 9 wins. They should be at the worst looking at a wild card, I think. But we'll see. Obviously, Chargers have higher aspirations than just a 9-8 season and a wild card berth. All right, that is the show for today. Next week, summer week 3. We're doing the Colts and the Broncos off-season recap there. So make sure you tune into that. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast, Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and TikTok at FAA.podcast. And we will see y'all back for Football Friday.